All right, let's do. What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 50 of the Trainers Scoop podcast. It so happens that I just have a pretty cool podcast format and a pretty cool podcast guest, Andy Milligan. Andy, say what's up to the people, my man.
How's it going, everyone?
Andy, appreciate you for hopping on, man. We have a little bit of a different format, as I just mentioned. And, typically with the podcast, it started as me interviewing people that I essentially just looked up to and wanted to pick their brain. And that's no slight to you, Andy. I think you're a really cool guy. And I do want to pick your brain, but it's a little bit of a reverse setup. Andy you said, did you just finish your sophomore year of college?
Yeah, sophomore year, 2 years in. Been to two different schools so far, so hopefully
Nice.
I'm at my last one. But
right, we're definitely going to delve into it, but we're kind of going to have I'm going to have some questions for Andy. We're going to talk about some pretty cool topics, such as how he produces high quality content for his Instagram, what are some of his driving motivations behind wanting to pursue fitness related careers, and the TRT Talk. That'll be pretty cool to kind of see how that TRT therapy, well, testosterone replacement therapy, for those who don't know, is going for Andy. And then he's going to have some questions for me toward the tail end. We'll just kind of go back and forth and do the thing. So without further ado, Andy, I always like to have my guests get to know you. So talk a little bit about your background, these different schools you've been to, how you wanted to get into fitness. Give me the story, man.
yeah, man, that's a hell of an introduction. So I don't know how I'm going to follow that up, but yeah, I mean, you said a lot of it. I went to Methodist University my freshman year of college to play golf, so that's where a lot of my expertise comes from, kind of in that field. And while I was down there, I got pretty homesick, and I thought of a new calling to pursue fitness and helping other people. And so I transferred. It's a tough decision. I'm now at the University of Findlay, a lot closer to home. I'm working at Springfield Health and Fitness and No Name Athletics in Findlay right now. And this summer, just doing a lot of internships, trying to learn as much as I can, and helping people doing golf lessons, stuff like that. Meeting as many new people as possible, like this guy right here, which we'll see how this goes. And just living life and trying to learn.
Beautiful. I like it, man. It's honestly a perfect place to be in for where you're at. Was Methodist where Bryson DeChambeau went?
No, so
Where
cool though.
where is Methodist?
I was in North Carolina, Fayetteville.
Okay. I'm thinking of another school in Texas. So got you. North Carolina though. Okay. And was that a bigger school than where you're at now, or about the same size? What was that like?
Actually a little smaller. It was I went there to play golf, so I made the team first semester. So I mean, obviously I'm not playing anywhere at D1 or anything like that. But they're a very respectable D3 program. Learned a lot about the golf game while I was there. Practiced a lot, probably too much, honestly. Didn't focus on school as much as I should. But and I had a good time down there. I made a lot of good friends, met a lot of good people. But like I said, I felt that calling to come home. And I think just the homesickness is something that you have to listen to at some point. And I think I made the premature decision to leave just to kind of verify my own independence rather than trying to do something for myself. Like it was just something more like I felt like I had to do. Like I have to, I'm graduating, I have to leave home, I have to do everything on my own, and that's just not true. And I'm remembering where home was, and you can never be too far from, or you can never be too close to home. That's what I've learned. So
yeah, I feel that. I was the same way. Moved to a different state after I graduated from college, did that whole thing. So I feel you.
Yeah. What college did you go to again?
I went to Ohio State, and then to New Jersey after graduation, worked at a really nice gym, kind of got the ropes of this whole personal training thing, and back in Ohio, kind of doing a slightly different, but still enjoyable type of deal. So yeah.
it's all enjoyable, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
What was some of the driving factors for you to get into, pursuing fitness, nutrition, and that stuff before you even made the commitment to go to college?
Big thing about fitness and nutrition was I I had just done so much of this stuff wrong in the past that I wanted to not convince, but to help other people not do the same thing. Like I went through both sides. I had a horrible eating disorder my senior year of high school. I got down to 130 pounds. And you guys will know I'm 6'5", so that's kind of problematic. And there was just running myself into the ground, eating 700 calories a day, exercising, doing everything wrong that I thought I was doing right. Getting shredded, swimming, just doing everything wrong. And I just remember life that time. It's just that's all it was fitness. And I think seeing that side of it, how it can become torture, and yet seeing the other side of it, like how much you can enjoy it, is just helping people find that balance like I found it for myself, and using it as one of the best tools to help you learn in life, because I'm big into learning as much as I can. You haven't noticed that yet, so.
Mhm. Yeah, that's what it's all about. I have very similar story, man. Mine was my junior year. I was like 130, ran cross country, like hardly ate, kind of like crash dieted down because I was like a little bit overweight when I first started high school. So I got down to like 130, yeah, like 6'2". I ate like 2 or 3 Nature Valley granola bars for like 3 weeks on end.
Man,
I lost so much weight. It was crazy. So I feel you,
man,
man. And that's really how my exact same story is, just like, wow, I really messed this up. Let's try to help people not make this mistake.
right. Some people it's just innocent, like you feel like you do something right. Like that was almost like the thing I tied it to, is like, man, this is so hard. I must be doing something right. It's not. It's learning to enjoy it and embrace it as a lifestyle, and enjoying every part of it that you can. Obviously, sometimes it's gonna suck, but what in life doesn't. So.
Mhm. Yeah, great statement right there. So how is the student athlete life? How you liking it?
It's not all it's cracked up to be. Honestly, it was busy. That's for
Mm.
sure. Busy, but you make time for everything. Like now, the shift is focused a lot more from athletics to um, the training and stuff like that, and between shadowing other trainers and doing internships and meeting other people, trying to get out of my comfort zone a little bit more. As far as student athlete wise, a lot of it is it's mostly athlete as it is opposed to student. Like you spend so much time focusing on you know your practice, your sports, your what you're doing like in between classes, and honestly, it's tough. It's not easy, and I'm glad I don't have to do it for one full year. So, but it taught me a lot about time management. I think is the biggest thing, because when you have to juggle two things that are so big like that, um, you kind of are forced to pick what's important to you, and I think that helped me and led me back here more than anything.
Yeah, that's like the sentiment I hear a lot. Props to you guys, because to do it and do it well, it's not easy. I struggle with time management enough as it was. Wanted to always be in the gym or, hanging with friends in college. So it's definitely not easy to put that time to like really focus on your passions and your studies. But I mean, shoot, like you said, you learn and you make do, and it'll be valuable, extremely valuable, especially as you transition out of it. So that's awesome, dude.
Mhm. Yeah, man. What sports did you say you played growing up? I know you played golf.
Yeah, I
What else?
played golf all 4 years of high school. I played baseball for 3 years, and I ran cross country. I even did marching band one year. I did a little bit of everything, man.
Damn. What instrument?
I played trombone.
I don't know. I pictured you as a the dude with the big bass drum. Uh,
Shoot,
yeah.
I feel like my mom was probably like steering me away from that
Yeah.
5th grade or whenever we started that. I was like, Mom, I should probably try percussion, right? It seems pretty cool. She's like, nah, that'd just be terrible to listen to. Like, try this.
Smart woman.
Right,
Smart
right.
woman.
Yeah, yeah. So Another thing, I think obviously you're doing a great job of right now, and I got a little lucky and also worked hard for it, was having great internships. So what are the internships like? What are some of your daily activities? I guess we should start with, how did you go about getting those internships? Because that would be very valuable for some up and coming college students.
A lot of it is you have to be your own biggest advocate and supporter. Like no one's gonna, especially when you're starting at the bottom, like I am. You and I'm still here. I haven't proven myself. I haven't done anything yet, and that is just believing in yourself and getting other people to believe in you too. Because and just going into your job, your work every day, even though you're probably not doing the things that you want to be doing long term, you have to have that mindset that's temporary and use it kind of as motivation to, you don't want to be doing this for your whole life. So that's why you're doing it now, paying your dues and, cleaning toilets, all that stuff, all the not fun stuff. There's funner parts than that, obviously.
Those
Like I'm not,
Springfield Health
yeah,
and Fitness are fucking
yeah, I know. Especially at the gym, dude. You get those freaking power lifters that just eat Pop Tarts and shit. And but
baloney.
oh yeah, oh yeah. You've done some powerlifting, I bet. But
Oh yeah, dude,
um,
that downstairs bathroom at Springfield Health and Fitness,
oh my god, dude,
rough.
you do not want you do not want to go there. Your audience, yes, you guys have been warned. Do not set foot down there. I promise you, I clean it the best that I can, but there's only so much you can do. Um, so yeah, like if I had to give advice to people looking for internships, I probably reached out to 20 different places, just asking, for an opportunity to learn. And if you go in with a mindset that you just want to learn as much as you can and you're not there to make money, that's what the summer is all about for me. And I try to keep this mindset to everything. It's just going in with a mindset that you only fail if you don't learn anything. And like I said, I failed a lot, whether it be in fitness, school, golf. Like I didn't make the team at Methodist second semester. And that led me back here. And I don't think I could be happier. So
Nice.
even though I'm cleaning toilets and not playing D3 golf, but
Hey, you're still putting in that work though. You're out there doing range sessions, evaluating swings. So I think like that kind of initiative that I'm seeing in you, that's big, man. Not a lot of people have that, unfortunately. So how did you kind of go about, like we see in your background right there, just simply the fact that you have like physical, is it like a poster board or like what you got going back there?
yeah, it's kind of the thing we use for our last. Yeah, I had to throw that in the background just because free
Just for the
advertisement.
brand?
But yeah, it's kind of what we've been doing is setting up kind of at local courses. We have one set up for we did Reed Park in Springfield. We have a couple set up for Abandoned Country Club. We have one at Miami Shores in a couple weeks. We're looking to get into this. We have one in July at Springfield Country Club, which is a pretty big venue. We're looking forward to forming relationships with, and we're still trying to grow and stuff like that. But basically, we go to golf courses and set up on the range, and we give people, fitness evaluations and give them exercises, and we partner with some of the gyms that I work at to give them, free passes into gyms to help them be more motivated to get in there and focus on their health. And it's just a great way to kind of support the community and support my career as well. As like I said, I'm starting at the bottom, so you have to really reach out and face that discomfort and try and convince other people that you have something of value. And it's hard, but it's a struggle. So
Mhm. That's really cool though. So did you go about like printing out all the different like graphics and poster boards, or was that like through some of the gyms? Was it like collaborative, or is that all you?
all the visual creative stuff I do handle on my end.
Mhm.
So I've gotten pretty good with design software and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It kind of implements my creative side a little bit, and I like showing some of that stuff off. So
Yeah. Man. Talk a little bit about that. Your content on Instagram, like I was saying, it's really cool. It's different for sure. Like a lot of like there was like a big wave of infographics, but yours are kind of like they have that personal touch to them too, because you have some pictures of you have some pictures of like random stuff in there, as well as like a lot of good information. So like what software are you using? How did you kind of come up with that idea? What's your creative process? Definitely interested to hear about it.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, man. It's some people think it's cringy, it's weird, and I get that. It's because it's different. I think anything that's different kind of can draw some criticism like that. But as far as the slides and everything, that's something I just started doing in my free time in college, and just seeing things that I wanted to learn about. I thought like, how could I, and putting it like in simplified terms that I think other people can understand, and that can help me understand, because I am by no means the smartest person, and like going through an anatomy and physics and physiology classes I struggle in, putting it in a format like that can really help me, because I'm so good with these. I'm not so good, but I spend so much time on these programs, and like I said, I've always had that creative side, and it really helps implement it and makes it a lot more engaging and interesting for me to learn. Like I do a lot of journaling and stuff like that. It's kind of like a digital version of that. So if you're ever interested in like a health and fitness topic, I've probably covered it so far. There's a lot I haven't gotten to, but it's just, yeah, it's something I'm super passionate about, because it helps me learn and implements that creative side. I use the Adobe software, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I got a student membership to that. It's super helpful. Like I said, a lot of it it's hard to use. Like you definitely have to be a student of it for sure. But that's one thing I'm good at. So
Yeah. Yeah, man, I'm gonna tell you what, it's like really good that you're doing it this early too, because I think when I was about your age, I think not to do that like when I was your age yet, but like social media was a little different back then. It wasn't like everybody was posting workouts and stuff, but it wasn't like quite as focused on like educational and informational stuff. And I would be wanting to do that, but I just kept second guessing myself. And that's something I wish I really would have got into earlier. So it's cool to see that you're putting that time and effort into learning it. You're already pretty good at it. You're just going to keep getting better. So man, I encourage everybody, just like I think about this all the time. It's like, don't just use social media to consume. Like we're all on there a little bit scrolling, and it's cool. It's a nice little stress relief, little time killer. But like, be a producer too, because if you're showing that you can, like you said earlier, provide some value to people, help them out, show them that you know that you're an authority figure, that's going to drive them to come to you later on down the road when they're looking to spend some
for
money.
sure, man. Dude, I vibe with that so much. Literally, I like be a producer. And actually, this is my wallpaper. It says, I don't know if you can see it. It says,
Yeah.
consume less, create more. And that's what I made that after, I'm sure you struggle with this too, is like, especially when you're doing social media stuff, and so much of your business and your brand is doing stuff on your phone. Like you can just get so caught up and just like, before you know it, you spend 30 minutes like scrolling and doing something that you're not supposed to be doing. Like it's so easy to waste time like that. So I've tried, it's a constant struggle, just like every time you sit down, whether you're eating or whether you're doing a lecture, doing work, just put the phone aside and like be conscious about like everything you're doing. I think that takes so much discipline, and I'm not there yet. But have you ever had any problems with like forcing yourself to focus on like producing rather than like taking stuff in all the time? Because I feel like I do that all the time.
Yeah, I still struggle with it a little bit. Even today, I was telling myself, like, all right, I'm gonna put this down on the dresser, come over to my desk. But it is a lot of discipline. It's something I've gotten way better at from college. It seemed like my biggest vice was like when I didn't really love a subject matter. Like you said, I'm the same way. Once again, physiology, anatomy, more harder sciences. I was always like not really engaged, and it's so much more tempting and easy to get on your phone and start scrolling. But now that I'm kind of doing my own thing, it's much more easy to put it aside and just zone in. It's also funny. I wonder if you'll experience this as an aside. Of course, not knowing exactly what your coursework is like, but there were certain classmates of mine that were like really good at those, like, harder sciences, physiology, anatomy, all that. And I was like, shit, like I'll get a B, it's fine. And really it was fine. It's not the best advice that I could give, but at the end of the day, like I graduated. And
Yeah. So hey man, C's get degrees, right?
exactly. And then once it came to like getting more into like the training specific, nutrition specific, I was just lapping it up, and it was like so much more natural to me. I would get A's on all of those tests and help people study, and they'd be like, how do you know all this? I'd be like, I don't know. It seems much more interesting to me.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's tough though, like to get back to the phone thing. Man, people like, I was talking to one of my online clients. He's like, oh, well, like I'm trying to use social media less, but at least like it's kind of like within your job title. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm still on there too much, man. Like I still get caught up scrolling or get on the Discover page, and you lose 20 minutes real quick. So
Exactly. Well, then it's just a lot of it's mental too. Like if you're like, man, I just did that for 20 minutes, and you're like, like I just, it's like you didn't even realize you were there, and it's kind of defeating to a point. Like you almost don't even feel in control, and that's the big like mental defeating aspect of it for me. So that's something I'm always trying to. And another thing I wanted to preface with like the social media and the slides and the simplified content is that like I don't want to pretend to be smart by any stretch of the imagination. The whole reason I do that is because I'm not smart enough to read it out of a textbook and then understand it logically. So I have to use pretty pictures and some satire and stuff like that to get my point across. So
one of my really, really big into exercise science research, very, very intelligent guy. His name is Bill Campbell, I want to say. Big Ohio State guy, big researcher. He actually recommended that we read this book called The Death of Expertise. And it's a very interesting book, basically, saying exactly that. Like we've kind of shifted to a more, and you see it all the time, like even in content, we shift to more like short form with like Instagram Reels, TikToks. It's like you got to be so quick with it, and you can't really ever expound upon a topic. And I feel conflicted upon it because, like you said, like not everyone can digest information from a textbook, or like not everyone has to be an expert to convey information, because like you and me, we're both not necessarily experts. We don't have a PhD, but we still try to convey information in a helpful way. So it's you brought up a great point of making it digestible. There's a real value to that. And I try to do similar things when I make like reels for people explaining little training concepts, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, to kind of like make it full circle, you do have to be mindful of how much you're consuming, who you're consuming it from, making sure you're getting your sources checked. And then, when it comes time to it, like it's really good to rely on experts at times. That's a whole thing we could delve into, but just an interesting thought that I had as you were talking.
Right. It's almost like the modern day, what you said made me think of like, they say like you're the sum of like your 5 best friends, right? It's almost like the modern day like equivalent of that. Like you're the sum of like what you spend, like your 5 most visited apps on your phone or whatever. Like I can see, like if you spend all your time on the explore page, not producing, just it's like you're just a follower. And I, more than anyone, am guilty of that for sure.
Right. Let's see these 5 most visited apps. Okay, we got Instagram, Snapchat, LumaFusion, Pornhub, Angry Birds.
Oh, there we go.
Maybe
There we go.
that's the power. I'm playing.
Power 5 right there.
Power 5, the dream team. Well, before we transition, actually, one more question. Do you have any other like struggles that you feel like kind of might interrupt your process, or like your process of being a student, your process of coming up as a trainer, other than maybe getting distracted? Is there anything else that's particularly tough for you at this time?
Oh, there's a lot of things I struggle with, David. I don't know if this podcast is long enough for all of them, honestly. That probably is the most prevalent, just because it's something I deal with every day. God, what's your relationship with caffeine?
I've probably like 200 to 400 milligrams a day. Either I just take pre-workout, or I'll take pre-workout and coffee.
Yeah. That's like literally almost the same thing. Like I've learned to monitor it like just like learn how much is in everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of know like where I'm at throughout the day, but like it's like, oh man, I need it, like, and I've done 30-day fast, like not fast, but caffeine fast.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, it's like I hate being like I hate being just like a follower, and like I hate being like I need like I need something. I hate admitting that I need something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like that with caffeine. Like I feel like everyone struggles with that to some extent though.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in like, health and fitness and working out. Um, it comes with taking pre-workout, it comes with enjoying it, especially if you like coffee, it comes with that too. But a big part is, being mindful of it, and that's something I've gotten better at. But that's definitely something I've struggled with in the past, like especially when I wasn't eating anything, like back in high school, doing swimming and everything, I was probably up over a gram a day easily. Just like for the appetite suppressing effects and just needing it, because I would have multiple practices and doing my own workouts, and like I said, doing everything under the sun wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So but that's probably that, and social media is probably the two biggest things. Another big thing I struggle with too is imposter syndrome. I don't know your experience with anything like that, but especially being a trainer and telling other people what they should or shouldn't do, you sometimes tend to question yourself a little bit. Especially, I mean, like, look at me. Like, I'm 6'5", 165 pounds. I can't bench 225. I can't squat 300. But I've got really damn good form, and I know everything about just about a lot. I know more than the average person about nutrition and health, and how they can implement a good exercise routine, and how they can live a healthy lifestyle. Because, like I said, I've done all the things wrong. So that's probably why I lean more towards the informational context, because that is something I struggle with, like posting videos of myself working out is something I don't do.
Mm-hmm.
Which I do sometimes, like stay tuned for the video tomorrow. But it's that imposter syndrome is definitely something I am going to overcome probably later on in my career. What's your kind of experience with that?
See, I never really had it that bad. I do have the same, like, I'm not the strongest guy out there type feel. But like in the past, like in 2017, same time frame of that was after my sophomore year, I got fucking diced, man. Like, so that kind of gave me like confidence of like, oh, I can do this. Like I have successfully run a fat loss diet that like probably 90% of people couldn't. And that was a good little ego boost. And I was very, very locked in. And I mean, you just kind of got to take those wins with it too. Like, you and I are both still not the strongest guys in the gym, but like I do the same thing where I have a huge focus on form. And for my goals right now, I'm training for hypertrophy. I switched out of powerlifting style training, and it really doesn't matter. Like the weight on the bar really doesn't matter. I'd rather see someone like flawlessly execute a squat than, what a lot of you see
And hurt themselves. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. One thing that I saw specifically with you the other day, actually, which you were training two of those younger guys, right? And so like, before we go into that, what's your experience with like training kids? Like, do you feel pretty comfortable doing that because they're kids, or what do you think?
I'm pretty new at it, to be honest, but I think with kids, I'm not the greatest with kids, especially when it's kind of like a forced situation like that. Like I'd rather make friends, naturally. But I've a lot of it with them I've seen is just kind of relating to them and not treating them, not trying to pretend that you're an adult, right? It's just like kind of putting you in their shoes. Like imagine the first time you went to a gym, right? Like you probably, I know I was probably scared out of my mind. Everyone's older than you, and you're just probably a little bit intimidated. That's why sometimes I'll make a point to just, say something stupid, act stupid, because it makes them feel more comfortable. It makes me feel more comfortable. So I'm just as nervous It's being judged by them because they're the ones paying me. So I do get a kick out of it. Sometimes a little frustrating because kids could be idiots, but not that the kids I train are idiots. I don't speak of them like that, but it's a memorable experience for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think from what I saw, you're doing great with it. And I mean, honestly, I think of it like, they look to you as like they're probably equally as intimidated of you. And they know you now. They like you probably. But like when they
Hope
had
so.
when they had that first session, they're probably like, oh snap, like this is about to be so legit. Like this
Yeah,
guy's
exactly right.
super tall, he's pretty jacked. Like this is
Mm.
serious right here. And just like that really extends to 90% of your clients and what that's going to look like forever. Like I used to speak about the same thing where for me, it was specifically the sales part was like, man, like, am I actually providing the value for them to be paying
Exactly.
$48 a session for me? And yeah, dude, like you are, because you've gone through it. You've spent all this time learning
And
the,
if they didn't have you, they wouldn't be doing it.
yeah.
Like they're there to see you. It's like you're teaching them the value of what it means to live a healthy lifestyle, so that hopefully they can do it one day they don't need you,
Hmm.
which is kind of a caveat. But that's what that's what a lot of people don't realize when you say, oh man, $48 an hour or $50 an hour, man, I can make a killing doing that.
Hmm.
But it's not glamorous like that. You're not.
Yeah,
It's providing value. So,
right.
and you have to be knowing it's providing value and just selling that to other people and getting them to see it. Because like I said, if it wasn't for them paying you, that's a lot of what their motivation comes from, like the money investment to get in the gym in the first place. Like, so
Definitely.
yeah.
So to get back to my original point, and you brought up a really good point there of like making them feel comfortable and you know treating them how you would want to have been treated. So that makes me like definitely understand. But so like when I first saw you working with those two younger guys, assuming everything's normal with that situation, there's certain circumstances in which things would change. But like if I were doing that, I would probably tell the one dude like, yo, I like that you like music in the gym, but this is learning time. So like
Exactly.
that was my initial reaction of like, I would probably tell him to take the headphones off for the workout and be like locked into you, because
Yeah.
I guarantee I saw you working with him. You're teaching them good form. You're teaching them what exercises to do. And like, I think that you deserve that locked in respect. And
Uh-huh.
that's something hard to like talk about, or that's something hard to like instill in yourself. Like you said, it's like the whole imposter syndrome, but like the fact that you're taking your time to work with them, um, that was one thing that like when I originally saw, I was like, damn, yeah, I would probably tell him to like take the fucking headphones off. But
Yeah.
you clarify it in a good way of like, I would want to be treated how I would treat, that whole thing.
Yeah. I'll admit I got a lot to learn as far as how to handle situations like that. But it's definitely something you notice as far as especially if it's something that you wouldn't do. Like that's something I wouldn't do as if I was getting trained, something I never did when I was getting trained. But just think, like, have you ever been trained by anyone, like
Yeah.
athletic trainer? Just think of how you saw them, right? Like to me, like I got trained by in high school for golf by this guy named AJ. AJ, he owns No Name Athletics in Pickla, and he plays professional Canadian football. He's up there now, actually. But and to me, he was just like, and I think that's very common with people that are getting trained. Like, it's like their trainers are just, it's like they're God almost, Yeah, and they're just such role models, and you almost don't want to intrude upon that,
Mhm.
like especially if you're setting an example for other people. I feel like, and that's part of what I'm getting into learning is that people can look up to you, even if, like I said, even if you're not the strongest person, even if you're not the most capable, people can still look up to you because you provide value. And um, like I said, all I want to do with this is help other people and learn as much as I can in the process. So.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think you're well on the way. Keep doing what you're doing, dude.
Hopefully. I mean, I've failed at nothing. I mean, if you keep failing, you're supposed to keep learning. So, and that's what they say. It better not be bullshit, but we'll find out.
Right? Shoot. So yeah, man, to kind of like transition from all that fun stuff, what's your workouts and training been like for yourself lately?
It's changed a lot, honestly. When you said like you don't have to lift heavy weight, I kind of vibe with that for sure. Like for the longest time, I was always, push pull legs, squat bench deadlift, try and progressively overload, and that shit just gets so boring after years and years. And you have to change it up just to keep yourself engaged, and not just be so into a routine where you're like looking to hit a certain number and then you base your workout off of whether you did or not, and that's not how I enjoy the gym. I like improvisation a little bit. I always go in with a plan, but I keep it pretty balanced. I'm not someone that follows like a strict routine, especially since coming home from the summer. I don't have like a home gym. Like obviously I always lift at Springfield, but it's usually just a push pull legs type split, and then doing my weird looking golfer shit on the side, that I try to do more on the weekends when there's not as many people there, because some of it does look pretty goofy. But it's a lot of it is trying new stuff for myself now that I have to program for other people, seeing if like I can do it, and then not just can I do it, but can I like explain it too, like trying new things and being comfortable if they don't work out like I want them to, which happens a good amount.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That
How
definitely.
about you?
Yeah, man, I'm kind of on a push pull legs split as well. I want to do a bodybuilding show in just about a year now, less than a year, 11 months. So
Yeah.
it's like an actual bodybuilding federation that I want to prep for. So just kind of putting in the foundation, bringing up some weak parts, mostly legs for me. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Like I have a gym, like I literally fucking own a gym, but I still go to Springfield Health and Fitness because it's nice. It's nice to have that scenery change.
Oh yeah.
Different machines there, and just be around some different people too. But yeah, it's pretty standard stuff. Nothing too crazy. I've been really less tied to. I mean, I won't ever say I'll never get back into like the strength type training again, because I probably will at some point once I do this show and experience that whole thing. But yeah, man, just that switch up has been nice for me too, not focusing on squat bench deadlift as heavily as I used to, and being less rigid in my like, oh, you have to hit 3x6 at 315 for a squat, for example, right? Like I like more of like relative intensity. So like rating of perceived exertion, RPE, rating of or relative intensity, RIR. What is RIR's acronym? I failed.
Reps in reserve.
Reps in reserve. Geez.
Yeah.
Failing miserably here. But yeah, like proximity to failure type training, keeping my rep ranges like more of like a 10 to 20 versus like a strict like 10. So it's been fun to switch it up for me too, man. I feel you on that.
Yeah, and it's breaking your routine is always hard, and when you've been doing something for so long, you kind of it's like grocery shopping, like they do studies on people that no matter what they do, they always take the exact same route and get the exact same shit, put it in the exact same area, pay the exact same amount, all that stuff. And it's subconscious, like scrolling on your phone, it's just, you do the same stuff. And when you desensitize yourself to it, especially in the gym, you just kind of zone out and you get a lot less out of it, I think. So I think there's definitely something to be said for consistency and being on a program, but none of us are robots. And especially if you enjoy the gym as much as I'm sure we do, then you kind of have to do your own thing sometimes. So
yeah, 100%. What are some of your go-to golf specific movements for the gym?
It depends. I said I'm learning a lot of new stuff about this right now. Like tried it off my own. If I'm working on explosiveness, it's usually some kind of power movement. Like I did a little bit of CrossFit back in Findlay, and some of the Olympic lifts are great for that. I haven't done those in a while, but because you fail those things, there's not much keeping you safe. But for power, Olympic lifts are great for golf, just because you're generating power from the ground. There's a lot of rotational movement, stuff like that. Cables are always great because they have some fixed resistance, and you can use rotational axis of that to kind of simulate the golf swing. Anything lower body and hamstrings, especially like reverse hyper, that machine sucks, but it's very good for hamstring health and balance and explosiveness. Lower body squats can't hurt, obviously. Box squats more than anything, like not trying to put up a huge amount of weight. Cleans, deadlifts, specifically sumo for golf, just because of the wider stance. And probably trap bar. If I'm programming for someone, I do trap bar. But if for myself, it's sumo, because I hate the trap bar. So
Really?
Yeah, it's no fun, dude. Come on, you know that. But yeah, those are probably my go-tos. I also like throwing a med ball around. That's pretty fun too. So there's a lot of different directions you can go. More than people think. People think it's golf. Like when I tell people I train people for golf, it's like golf. Do golfers even go to the gym? And yes, we do. At least the good ones do, I say. So and it's kind of, like I said, it's a tough sell sometimes. Like it's just like marketing yourself. Like people don't even think golfers need to be in the gym, and that's telling them that they do and showing them and demonstrating, putting them through some of the simple mobility tests and strength tests that shows them like, oh man, I actually am lacking at this. Maybe I could benefit from, some time under some weights. So,
yeah, that's especially like you said, I can't remember exactly how you phrased it, but like you see people on tour, like Justin Thomas definitely comes to mind, just being able to like really drive into the ground and like get that weight shift down, use the ground for like extra power. And on top of the rotation, of course, it's big, man. It's just gonna get more mainstream with people understanding that the gym can translate over, maybe even help with like that proprioceptive understanding of like how you're moving with it too. I could see how I have a translation over too. So it's definitely
100%. Yeah, especially with the rate like the game's growing. And like you would look at Justin Thomas and you'd be like, man, that guy goes to the gym. And like I haven't seen him without his shirt off or anything, or with a pump or anything like that. But from the outside, it kind of looks like he has a dad bod, and he's got kind of that skinny fat look going on. And that's because they don't train for aesthetics. They do some of the weird shit that I do on the weekends when none of you guys are in the gym, because I'm embarrassed to do in front of you. But there's definitely a value to it. And people like him, they pay trainers like us a lot of money to teach them that, and that it's worked for them. So they can definitely work for you if you're just playing on the weekends. So.
That's cool. Definitely. It's definitely on the come up, but it's still kind of untapped. So that's cool that you are putting in the groundwork to get it, because I'm sure like within the next couple of years, it's gonna be known to a better extent even than it is now. So hell yeah.
That's the hope. That's what people keep saying, is that like it's on the come up, and then like I'm like right here, and then hopefully I can like ride that wave to whatever the top is. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's cool. That's exciting stuff. Nice. One thing that we briefly mentioned at the beginning that I wanted to definitely get into too, kind of maybe like the causes / how it's affecting you now. But you mentioned that you have recently, I guess, started would be the right word, TRT, or testosterone replacement therapy, for people that don't know the acronym. But like, what was maybe some of the things that led you to wanting to get that checked out, and how's it impacted you so far?
Yeah, so I appreciate you having me on the podcast as kind of a platform for this, because it's something that I think could benefit a lot of people, as far as just the misinformation and the lack of knowledge that people have, not just on their own health, but and the misconceptions too, TRT. So I've had low iron, low energy just for the past like several years, ever since high school, going through periods of weight loss and things that changed myself. And you kind of, once you reach a baseline of a point in your energy and your motivation and just kind of your zest for life type thing. Like I've been through, depressive episodes. I've been on antidepressants for a while. I take Zoloft, and that has helped. And once you kind of reach that baseline, like you don't know what normal is. So I was living with hypogonadal, conditions for several years, and that just goes to show, like, I didn't have anything seriously wrong with my health. I was functioning. I had some health scares as far as like the blood work and low iron, but that's what wanted me to, and I had to do this for myself, was get a full metabolic panel and really kind of assess what was going on for myself. And for for years, I was living with nanograms per deciliter below 50, and I still, the highest we did 5 or 6 blood tests, and the highest I ever got was still below 80. So
that's very
right. That's very low. Yeah, that is
250 standard of what they put people on.
Yes. Well, healthy reference range is like 300 to 900 in most cases, nanograms per deciliter, and 80 is about average for a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little bit of a hit to my ego. Like I said, it's kind of hard to talk about because it is a little bit embarrassing.
Right.
But it's kind of the misconceptions around it. It's not something that a lot of people talk about as far as, especially when it's happening to them. But so yeah, if I can encourage anyone just to get their blood work done. And if you feel like shit, it may not just be because of a lack of motivation. It may be because something is actually wrong with you. And taking the time out for yourself to, check all your bases and make sure that, because if you're not right up here, you can't be right anywhere else. Especially if you're in a profession like we are, trying to help other people, you have to be right for yourself. So, I just started not even 2 weeks ago, microdosing 100 milligrams biweekly or monthly, 100 milligrams monthly. So it's very, very small changes, and just like that, and it's not a miracle cure by any stretch of the imagination. It's not magic. It's just the shift from where I was used to being to actually having something circulating in your system that's attaching to, androgen receptors. It's just such a different feeling, and your body latches onto that. It's a lot more noticeable. So like energy levels drastically improved, hormones, sex drive, just it's kind of that zest for life is back, and it feels really good because, like I said, once you get adjusted to a certain level, that's normal for you, and you don't even know that you should be different. So that's kind of my bottom line, and the ramble there is to encourage everyone to get their blood work done and make sure that they're all set for themselves. So have you ever had any experiences in that realm?
I never have. And, I'm about to be 26 and self-employed. So my goal is to get in and get the blood work done soon while I'm still on my parents' health insurance. So I really can't echo that too. It's something I've been putting off personally. So it's another little fire under my ass to get that done. I will say one of my good friends and like online clients, training partners, he won't mind. I don't think he'll mind me talking about this, but like when I first met him, he was a couple years older than me, and his voice was definitely higher, like very, very thin guy. He had some issues getting put on TRT, but very similar levels to you. I don't know what the deal was, why he couldn't get on it. luckily over time, I think he matured more as he grew older, and like lifting weights, I think contributed to increases as well. But man, like I bet for you, it's a night and day difference. And just a quick question out of my own curiosity. Is it the type of thing where you're going to have to do this for this foreseeable future, or does it kind of like stimulate more testosterone production naturally, or what does that look like for you?
From my understanding, like if so, like if I want to know something, then I go down rabbit holes and I do all the information. Like I went to this endocrinologist and I was like, this is what it is. This is how I know this stuff works. What do I need to do? And I went through everything. Like I just want to let the audience know I went through. It's not like we just like, oh man, I feel like shit one day, I need TRT. I was living with this for a very long time, not even knowing what it was. And it's very important that you do all the lifestyle adaptations that you can beforehand before ever injecting anything into yourself. And that's what I did. I nailed sleep. I did increased dietary fats. I looked at all the health markers. I did everything, and that's supposed to naturally increase testosterone. And I slept, and it helped my mood, but it never got back to that baseline. And as far as the therapy I'm on now, from my understanding, it's very case dependent as far as if it can kickstart natural production. Usually in someone my age who has already gone through puberty, that's not the case. You just become reliant on it. So I've had MRIs done on the pituitary and stuff like that, and they don't know like the actual cause of the hypogonadal symptoms. It's just no LH and FSH is being produced and attaching to androgen, and that's all they know for now. And they said there's a possibility it could generate increases to steady levels, but I have to get tests done bi-weekly, probably for the foreseeable future. So yeah, so as of right now, it'll probably be just a monthly. Right now the prescription is a monthly 100 milligrams, and monitoring blood work as we go. And if it increases, then great, and if it doesn't, then that's why we have the secret sauce, I guess.
So be on the lookout for Andy looking at jacked 185 by the end of this summer. He's full on questionable natty status. No, I'm kidding.
It's not even questionable anymore. I'm fully out there.
Nah, I'm playing. Yeah, man, I appreciate you talking about it, because like it's not easy to talk about. And I'll just say from what I know from talking to people and reading doing some of the school work that comes to mind, like if the certain signs that should be there aren't there, like for my guys out there, once again, it's not the easiest thing to talk about, but like if you're in your late teens or early 20s, 25, maybe even like toward your mid to late 20s, like if you're not ever waking up with morning wood, once again, it's kind of weird, but like there might be an issue. Or like if you feel like, once again, like Andy was saying, your energy and motivation, kind of just zest for life, as he put it, is down, like could be something to talk about. And then maybe even going into definitely going in to get the blood work done if you're feeling like you have optimized all those lifestyle factors. So that's a really good point, man, and appreciate you talking about it, because it's good stuff.
Yeah, I want, like I said, it's not easy to talk about. I'm not proud that by any stretch of the imagination that I couldn't get one up for 2 years or anything like that. But I think it takes people kind of but like the biggest thing I want to stress is that it's not a miracle cure. Like you have to be at a level, you have to have exhausted all your other resources and trying to make yourself healthy. And that's what it's about. It's about health, and it's not about going in there and making crazy progress in the gym. There's people that take it for that, and there's people that take it to function. And I'm definitely the latter, but it's something that you should definitely look into, is just because it is very important for your health, and neglecting it isn't something you should do, which I did for way too long. So that's the biggest thing. The kind of the bottom line for me, for everyone, is to take care of themselves. So
yeah, man, it's not easy to do, but I appreciate you saying that, because like it's a tough conversation. And it, like, I remember, I mean, honestly, to keep 100% with you, I still wonder if I should do this every day. Like, I still think about it sometimes, but like in my past relationship, when I was out in New Jersey, my ex-girlfriend was saying, like, I feel like you have ADHD and that it's affecting our relationship. And I had thought that, like, even in high school. And I think the thing was, for me, I got like really good grades, probably similar to you. Like, it was easy. Like, you know, I might take forever to do an assignment because I get distracted by everything. And it got worse with social media, like we're talking about. But like, I was always like, fuck me, do I have ADHD? I don't know. And I was always like, I don't really want to go to talk about it, because like I can just man up and like focus harder. But then sometimes I'm like, fuck, it's so hard to focus. And it's like, it's not easy to do. Something I probably should still do today. But yeah, man, it's very inspiring and cool that you took that jump, because like you said, you probably could have just kept going and you would have been fine, you know, but you still did it, and it's improved your quality of life. So big props.
I appreciate that, man. And like I said, like, if people are looking for, it's not something that you get on because you want the benefits of it. It's something that you get on because you're not feeling the presence of it in a healthy amount. You know, like, it's not like, you know, I'm feeling like shit one day. It's like, oh man, you know, I got low T. You know, it's definitely recurring, and odds are, from my experience, if you can kind of pinpoint it after a while. Especially, like I said, there's definitely, as a male, there are certain telltale signs that elicit such deficiencies, as I've experienced. So, and once you get them fixed, things are fixed, and that's how you know that they work. So
there we go.
Yeah. that's all I'll say about that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I can't echo that enough, especially like just the fact that it's on the podcast. Like, you know, I love everybody, regardless of if you use like performance enhancing drugs of any kind. I personally won't do it. Like, I wouldn't recommend people do it. It has to be, or it doesn't have to be. I think it should be in a place of necessity and not desire. And there's safer models, safer use models. I'm not going to hate on everybody. I'm not going to say that they're idiots for using PEDs, but like, I personally won't do it. And I feel like my stance on the podcast is you don't really need it.
Yeah. And that's the thing, I was like, it's kind of nice because I'll never have to make that decision, whether, you know, it's kind of made for me. So at this point.
Yeah. I recently had another guest on the podcast that was in the same boat. So it's like, people were asking him if he'd ever do a bodybuilding show. He's like, well, I can't do a natural show because I have this TRT. So he's like, I don't know. We'll have to see if I ever want to really delve into it. But yeah. Well, shoot, we almost been on for an hour. I want to ask a couple of closing questions. See if you have anything for me, and then we'll get on with our Sunday night, man. But what do you think are some of the biggest takeaways from both of the internships and things that you're doing this summer? What are some of those big takeaways so far?
So far, it's kind of convincing myself that failure isn't a bad thing. I do it, especially when you do it a lot, you can take it one of two ways, I'm finding, and I'm not an expert by any means. And that's, like I said, if you do something that doesn't work, I've made plenty of artworks. I've made plenty of Instagram posts that I'm not proud of, and that didn't do well. And you're like, man, shit, is this even helping anyone? Like, what am I doing all this for? What am I, elbow deep and powerlifter shit in the toilet for? Why am I cleaning bathrooms and not? Yeah, I know it's funny, but why am I not like playing golf?
Smoke.
Yeah.
On the other side of the locker room while you're scrubbing shit, you're like questioning your whole existence. I feel that.
Oh yeah, I live it. But like I said, well, you can either be doing that or you can be not happy with yourself, playing golf in sunny North Carolina. And I think at the end of the day, um, I'm just learning every day. And that's what gets me out of bed in the morning, is just trying to not take things the right way and in stride, and learning how I can use um, experiences from today to benefit, what I want to do down the road. So,
Nice. What do you feel like, if anything comes to mind, have you had any like specific like failures so far along the fitness? We'll keep it fitness specific. Like, have you had any like failures that you feel like you've learned from?
oh yeah, um, yeah. I've struggled. Like I said, I struggled getting in shape the first time. Instead of getting stronger, I just got a hell of a lot weaker. And I've always struggled to go on a proper bulk. Like, some of it, I don't make time, to program right and take enough time into my workouts. And I don't prioritize, eating enough to actually make the gains that I want to. And um, at the end of the day, it comes down to yourself. You have no one to blame but you, especially when you're the one that's, programming for yourself and making your food. And it's your own journey. And that's where a lot of accountability comes in. And when you learn that, when you learn you can't blame on anyone else, that's just you learn accountability. And that's valuable for me so far. But,
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that sometime. Because I was the same way. I think a lot of people are the same way, where they struggle with the bulk thing. Yeah, we'll have to chop it up. Maybe not.
yeah,
But
it's kind of twofold. Like, part of it is the mental aspect of like your relationship with food and wanting to look in shape and portray a message, and the other part of it is feeling weak all the time and not wanting to change what you're already doing. And like I said, change in any aspect is tough, whether you're changing your eating habits. It's the same way for overweight people that are trying to lose weight. It's like, it's what their baseline is versus what they want it to be, and how you can kind of align your habits to change the events that get you to that outcome that you want. So
yeah, that's a good point. Definitely. Yeah. It's tough to realize, like, well, it's not necessarily realization, but it can be tough to kind of keep all those things in mind and then stay the course. Like you said, it takes a lot of that accountability. But
that's what I was just telling my mom there, not to cut you off. I was just telling mom the other day. And my mom, she lost 51 pounds. She is fantastic, and I barely helped her at all. And she's my best friend. And yeah, I'm not ashamed to admit that, even in front of a lot of people. But I even said, like, man, people say, like, man, you want to get stronger, you want to get, you want to get bigger, you want to get, more testosterone, you just got to eat more, you gotta just, shovel it down. And for like an overweight person, it's like the same thing. It's like it's the same thing I would say, like, in reverse. I'd just be like, you want to lose weight, you want to fit into that, those clothes, you want to look better, just don't eat that, like, just eat less, and that's what makes sense to some of us, and to some of us it just makes sense to other things. So it's kind of interesting seeing like different perspectives on things. That's what I've learned a lot since, especially in the internships, is seeing how different people approach their own journeys and learning from it, but at the same time realizing that you're on your own journey, and to not put all your eggs into what someone else's basket, and being mindful, like I am, because I'm mindful Milligan, but of a difference in populations and how everyone's mindset is different than yours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great point. It's a double-edged sword, and it's also like probably the second part of what you mentioned. Like, everybody's own kind of journey type deal. That's definitely one of my favorite aspects of it. It's just like those unique sets of scenarios and navigating how you can help a person through that. That's probably the most like challenging but fun and rewarding part of the whole thing. So very
Yeah.
good.
People don't realize you learn a lot from your clients, just like they learn a lot from you. So
100%. Yeah.
that should be the title of this podcast, just learning. I've said that so many times, but
episode 50, learning. I like it.
yeah.
Shoot, man, you have any questions for me? Anything comes to mind? If not, no worries. But
I mean, I had a couple set up, but they're more like kind of off the cuff, like it's a couple would you rather kind of like funny type dealios. I don't know, just to like I always had these ready just in case. But who's your biggest inspiration? I always ask people this.
it's a good question. I think like personally, I'll answer it personally, and then like celebrity inspiration, if that makes sense. So personally, my dad has been a big inspiration to me because he was always able to manage like working hard to make ends meet, being like my coach for everything, being just like very generous with his time to help people, and also just really hardworking. And I especially noticed that during when I saw a lot of people working from home. A lot of people would screw around and like working from home. It was like, let's be on vacation. No, my dad was still grinding, like, and he has a pretty good, well-paying job, but he was grinding like he was like a CEO. Like that was really cool for me. And it put a lot of things in perspective for me too. Cause a lot of people I think got in a bad habit of like slacking off a little bit, which it was a tough time for everybody, but like that was cool just to see him like really doing his thing. So definitely multifaceted inspiration there. And then I think like fitness / influencer inspiration is Jeff Nippard, just because I've talked to him a couple of times. He's always like really willing to provide with advice, like literally even like checking out my videos, like seeing like, oh, that's a cool thumbnail, or like, oh, you could do this differently. And then seeing how he kind of just like stayed really on the YouTube grind and how that paid off was pretty cool to see as well, because I followed him for a long time. And yeah, he was pretty cool in person too. I think like, and the dude just bought like a Porsche Cayenne. So it was like, oh shit, this could actually pay off if like we keep it up and we keep working hard. So
I love Jeff Nippard. Haven't met him in person or anything like that, but he's definitely just like, I've watched his content for years now. He's definitely an OG and definitely knows what he's talking about. So definitely a good role model to have there. As far as your dad, what does he do for a living?
There's a specific title, but basically an engineer designing airplane lights at Honeywell in Urbana. So he is really into like CAD, other more advanced type design softwares for all kinds of different lights, whether it be military, commercial, interior lighting for just, in the cabin, wingtip lighting, different lights for like when they land or when they're refueling mid-flight, like all types of different lights. So it's definitely not my type of job. Like I would be bored as shit sitting at a desk designing lights on the pad, but like, yeah, he's really good at it. So works out.
That's awesome, man. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. As far as like deep provoking questions, that's like the only one I really wanted to ask, just because I feel like it's a really like telltale sign. Like, and I just want to let the audience know, like, we haven't even hung out like that much in person. Like, this is very raw, very real, like us getting to know each other almost. So, yeah, I think I'll save some of these for later. As I get to know you a little bit better, but
dude,
I feel like I'm gonna do pretty well after that.
If you want to, like, it's not like I'm pretty much open book as all get out. Like, if you feel like you're gonna offend me, no worries. Or if you want to save them, no worries, dude.
Yeah. You shouldn't have said that, because now I'm just gonna come guns blazing. But
go for it. I think it's funny.
No. Nah, that's all the questions I got for now, man. But
All right, sounds good. We'll have to do like a side video of those other questions at some point.
yeah, I got some pretty funny Q&A ones, like would you rather's. I'm pretty good at would you rather's. I got a pretty long list of this.
Bro,
But,
you gotta hit me with
like,
one. You gotta hit me with one for the podcast.
okay, that's my best one. Would you rather have huge calves and a small chest, or huge chest but inverted calves? So like you have like a freaking Schwarzenegger chest, but you have inverted calves and you literally can't wear shorts. Or you have like the biggest, daddy calves that there ever was, but you have a sunken ass chest and you look horrible in a t-shirt.
Those are so tough. I mean, I feel like right now it actually is the case where like my chest is one of my strong points and my calves is one of my weaker points. So, oh, that's tough. Honestly, I think I would just bite the bullet and wear pants all the time and have a bigger chest.
Damn. I would have gone the other way, honestly. Because
Dude,
I already have a shit chest as it is. So it's like if you have like the most hunky freaking softball calves, everyone's gonna notice that, man.
yeah,
If you got a sunken chest, you're like, damn, that's unfortunate.
right.
But
Right.
you make
It was like the degree of those. Like to me, it both seems like they're kind of genetic. Like we all know calves are very genetic dependent. You can get them bigger, but they don't respond quite as well as other muscle groups. And in chest is like, I feel like you can kind of like some people have a fighting chance for chest, even if you have shitty genetics. But I mean, obviously, if you have like a sunken and cereal bowl chest, you probably have shit genetics.
right. Dude, I literally just a quick tangent. My homeboy, Nick Roberts, he literally has like he called it his salsa bowl, right? Like you could literally lay down and pour shit into it and it would stay in there. Like they put salsa in it. Like I don't know what it's called. There's some kind of name for it, but it's like between his pecs and it's literally like a crater. It's so unfortunate.
See, part of the thing that went into that decision for me, I was like, yeah, like my girlfriend, she like when we're like watching a movie, she'll be like, head on the chest. I'm like, oh, okay, I like kind of having pecs because then you can like fuck with her and be like boom, 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 just head bounce. And like, if you have that sunken in chest, there's also still a place for your significant other to rest their head while you're chilling.
Right, it's like a pillow.
It might be less comfortable. They might wake up with some neck pain, but shit, like
that's
a funny one. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we got about, I think we just got about everything that we were planning on, man. That was a good podcast.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I've never done it before, so sorry if I was, cringy and weird and anything like that. But
not at all, man. You got an early morning tomorrow?
Actually, I'm off tomorrow. I'm still gonna be up early though. I'm gonna get some practice in, do some client stuff,
Just, dude, he's a beast.
Live the life.
Right. Well, it's official, or it's now 9:21. So I do appreciate you letting me have a part of your Sunday night for the podcast, man. And yeah, thanks again for being on, dude. It was a good one.
Yeah, man. I had a blast. Let me know if you ever want to come on again. If you want to come on again. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. We'll have to do it again sometime for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. Especially like, man, it's cool because you're definitely ahead of like so many people. Like, definitely ahead of where I was at your age. You got your head on straight. Like, I feel like a lot of kids your age, they maybe have like a big following, but it's like a lot of clout chasing, a lot of stupid shit for social media. But like, the foundation is being laid for a successful career with it. So keep doing your thing.
Oh, one more thing. I think this would be a good place to close. What would be your one piece of advice to give someone like me? Like, if you could go back in time and give yourself to my advice, someone just getting started, because I'm kind of, following in Daddy David's footsteps here, I guess you could say. So, right. What would you go back and tell yourself if you were in my shoes?
Yeah, so this is a tough one. Like, partially because, like you said, we have spent some time together, but not a lot. So I will approach this as like strictly to me, and it's just like don't doubt yourself and have more confidence, because I was, like I said, just kind of like timid to post some things, or I didn't really like assert myself of like, I was doing some pretty cool shit when I was around that same age as well. And I was just always like, like no one really cares, or like, I'm not quite qualified yet. I'm not ready to say it. But yeah, I think you're doing a good job, but keep doing it. You have a good base going of, getting some videos out, getting a lot of great posts out, keep on being confident in yourself and in the work that you're doing. And it might not always feel great, but like, it's all part of the process of getting better and realizing that you can make this stuff work. That was another big like point of trepidation for me. I was like, man, I don't know if this is actually going to work. Like, shit, can I make good money being honest and helpful in fitness? Because you see a lot of people like selling supplements that might not be the greatest, or selling cookie cutter programs to make a lot of money. I'm like, man, does this even exist? But I think we all know now that it does. So just keep doing what you're doing, but have a lot of confidence in yourself. Almost like that Conor McGregor type confidence. Pour yourself into it and the results will come, man. Just be confident in yourself. You got this.
Appreciate that, man. I'm gonna do my best. So
yeah, it's not easy.
It never is, man. Never is.
Well, shit. I might as well get to my sign off. Appreciate y'all for watching. Appreciate you, Andy, once again for coming on the podcast. This has been episode 50 of the Trainer Scoop. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, really appreciate a 5-star review. Tell me what you most liked about Andy's talk in that 5-star review. And then share it around with all your friends, family, anybody looking to learn, any potential up and coming fitness professionals. This is a great one for them. If you're watching on YouTube, always appreciate a little like, subscribe, notification bell. Really appreciate, once again, comments down below. That always helps the videos get a little bit more engagement and traction on YouTube. So appreciate y'all. This has been episode 50. See you in episode 51.